All right, let's talk about something that is so incredibly common, but that almost nobody actually talks about: secret eating. If you've ever, felt that pull to hide what you're eating, you know deep down it's not really about willpower or being bad. It's about psychology. And once you see the hidden patterns behind it, oh man, so much is going to start making sense. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It gets right to the heart of that feeling. That sense of compulsion, the confusion, that little voice asking, why am I doing this? Well, today we're going to unpack that why, and we're going to do it without any judgment at all. And you know what? These behaviors are everywhere. I mean, who hasn't done the whole over the sink snack that somehow doesn't count? Or maybe you've timed a grocery run for when the house is empty. Trust me, you are not the only one doing this, and there are some really fascinating psychological reasons behind it all. Okay, so the first thing we really need to get our heads around is that secret eating isn't just some random thing that happens. Nope, it's part of this really powerful, self-perpetuating cycle. So let's break down exactly how that trap works. Yup, it all kicks off with this one single emotion: shame. This is the engine. It's that awful feeling that what you're doing, or heck, even just wanting to do, is somehow wrong and that it absolutely has to be hidden from everyone. And here's the trap, right? You feel shame about eating something, so you hide it. But then, the act of hiding itself, the sneaking, the deception, it makes you feel even worse. It just piles guilt right on top of that shame, which then fuels the urge to hide even more the next time. It is a psychological hamster wheel, and it is absolutely exhausting. So, we know that shame is what powers this whole cycle. But where does that shame even come from in the first place? Well, for a lot of us, it's actually rooted in a pretty surprising act of rebellion. So there's this key psychological concept, and it's called reactance. To put it really simply, it's that feeling you get when someone tells you that you can't do something. What's your immediate, almost gut level urge? It's to do that exact thing just to prove that you're the one in control. And this is where it all starts to click. Think back to the food rules you grew up with. You have to clean your plate. Dessert is a reward for being good. Oh, that's a bad food. Well, as an adult, secret eating can become this subconscious way of finally rebelling against all that, of finally saying, no one tells me what to do anymore. I'm in control now. Suddenly, it's not really a food problem, is it? It's a control problem. But wait, it's not just about rebelling against the past. There's another huge layer to this: your own brain chemistry. And it plays a massive role in why this habit can feel so impossible to break. Okay, this is pretty much brain science 101. When you eat foods that are really rewarding, high in sugar, fat, or salt, your brain releases a little chemical called dopamine. That's the neurotransmitter for pleasure and reward. It feels good, so your brain basically says, hey, that was awesome, let's do that again sometime soon. And this is the really crucial part. The act of secrecy itself actually amplifies that dopamine hit. The sneaking around, the thrill of not getting caught, that feeling of relief, all of that gets added to the chemical reward. So it's not just the cookie that feels good anymore, it's the secret cookie, and that feels way better to your brain. This is so important to get. It creates this incredibly powerful neurological loop that has absolutely nothing to do with being weak or lacking willpower. Your brain is just doing what it's designed to do. It's repeating behaviors that trigger a massive reward signal. So, if your brain is stuck in this powerful cycle, how in the world do you get out? Well, the answer is probably the exact opposite of what you've been trying this whole time. Let's take a look at the path to actually breaking free. That's it. That's the whole thing. For years, maybe decades, the gut reaction to feeling out of control with food has been to try and impose more rules, more restrictions. But that just feeds the rebellion. It feeds the shame cycle. The real solution? It's to bring the behavior out into the light. So what does visibility actually look like in real life? Well, it means eating the cookie, but at the kitchen table with a glass of milk, not in your car in a parking lot. It means using a real plate instead of eating out of the bag. It means dropping the good food and bad food labels and just eating. When you take away the secret, shame starts to lose its power. But here's the thing. Bringing things into the light only really works if you can change your internal monologue too. You can't just practice visibility on the outside, you have to practice self-compassion on the inside. That inner critic that's always judging you, that is pure fuel for the shame cycle. So ultimately, this is the choice. You can stay on that hamster wheel of more rules, more guilt, and more secrecy. Or you can choose to step off onto a different path, a path of freedom that's paved with visibility, self compassion, and real understanding. Let's be honest, punishing yourself hasn't worked, has it? It might be time to try something new. So, if you've been stuck in this cycle, I just want you to remember you are not broken. Your brain is simply caught in a very clever pattern. And what if the very first step to changing that pattern isn't tightening your grip and trying to control it more, but actually loosening it with just a little bit of compassion?